All right, there we go. Now we got our microphones fixed over here. Addison, I was throwing you a curveball, I think. Sorry about that.
Don't do that again.
Don't do that again. Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and we've got some cold weather coming our way, and the coldest weather of the season is on its way into the northern plains. So get ready to bundle up. We're going to have wind chills over the weekend between 20 and 35 below. That's entering the dangerous category. So a little bit of freezing mist right now from, let's say Castleton up through Devil's Lake Basin. And again, it doesn't take much to kind of grease the roadways. So please be careful if you're out and about this afternoon. We'll have another shot of some snow coming in tonight as the Arctic front arrives. You'll know when, because the winds will quickly shift around to the northwest after midnight. And we'll pick up maybe a half inch out of that. But the winds will be blowing 20 to 35 and a little gusty tomorrow. And that'll produce a little blowing snow, and we'll have steady to slowly falling temperatures all day tomorrow. So we'll have wind chills about 20, 25 below. And then for Friday night and Saturday night, we're looking at lows between 20 and 25 below. Yikes. So, yeah, it's a quick shot of cold air. It'll last a couple days, and then by Tuesday of next week, we could be in the mid to upper 30s. So we could be pushing 40 by Tuesday of next week. So it's short-lived, but boy, it's gonna be a little harsh out there as we head into the weekend. So get ready. But it's that time of the year. Did you see the look
I was giving you?
I did. Oh
Did
yeah.
you see the look? Okay, because I'm in Grand Forks right now. The sun is out. In fact, I thought, do I have to put my sunshade up? Is it a little too bright in here? And you're like, oh yeah, freezing rain. That's not funny. I'm 50 miles from home. Thank you very much.
It's mostly to your west. I don't think we have to worry about it in and around the valley. Most of it's going to hang out to the west. Yeah, we should be okay.
All right, that's what we're hoping for. Well, with that weather, especially with a warm up coming, that is something to look forward to. But this is the weather where we have to be a lot more cautious when it comes to not only our livestock but our pets, etc. So windbreaks are going to be important. You want to make sure that you can keep animals out of the wind. They're going to require a little more as far as protein in order to keep them warmer. And it's going to be a battle to keep all those water tanks and troughs flowing freely in that type of cold temperature. God bless cattlemen who have to go out and fight those things, or those who have sheep and got to keep them warm. Now's the time for, if you've got backyard chickens, bundle them up, get them in the coop. Please don't snuggle with them. I've told you guys this before. Don't. They have lice and mites, and they're chickens, for God's sakes. Just put them back in the coop and close the door. Yeah, it's okay.
Do you know somebody that snuggles up with chickens?
I saw a video from a news outlet in the region who was showing a Christmas, like, come see Santa type of day, and they had chickens there wearing tiny sweaters that you could cuddle and take pictures with. And I'm like, the only time I need to cuddle with a chicken is if it's a drumstick on my Sunday dinner platter. I don't need it wearing a sweater.
Exactly. No. Oh man. Hey, I heard we did not have a winner with yesterday's weather trivia.
We did not.
Was the question that hard?
I don't think so.
No?
Addison, we didn't think it was that hard.
Oh, I thought it was pretty easy.
And
okay.
The question came from, as you can see right here, the Book of Useless Information. So this is my guidebook for all things trivia when Dean is missing. So we're going to see if we can get people to find the answer that comes from this book today. And it says that a normal raindrop falls at what speed per hour? We're looking for a miles per hour. For those who want to call in, you can do that on the JLA Insurance phone line. That number is 701-293-9000. With major changes coming in crop insurance, you're going to want to talk to Nate Thorsrud at JLA Insurance. He can help you out. Additionally, you can be watching us today on our live stream brought to us by Lighthouse Commodities. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Acres TV. If you're not driving, you can turn on the video and watch. At least that's what I told the officer I visited with earlier today. Kidding, just kidding. And then also, Our inboxes are sponsored by Superior Grain Equipment. They power Dean's inbox, which is ag@flagfamily.com, and mine, which is ag@flagfamily.com. Did I say the same one twice?
No, Addison was in my ear. We were talking about we
Oh,
were talking about the
talking-
trivia question yesterday.
We're talking
Okay.
specifics here.
And that's oh man. So I see what you're getting at, and it depends. It depends on the size of the raindrop. That's the problem. So I'm sure.
well,
I'm
now
sure
this,
go
I'm
ahead.
sure people are thinking that, but this says a normal raindrop. So we'd be looking for something average.
Okay.
We are above average on this show here at the Coral Laundromat Studio, but our raindrops are only at average.
Okay, we got a caller on line one. Caller, what's your name?
Okay.
Kevin, Fergus,
Kevin. What's your guess?
14 to 22 miles an hour. So half of that would be average.
Oh.
So what's the math, Kevin?
What?
You can't
the
just
math?
say half of that. What's the math?
22 miles an hour.
See now, Bridget's
Hey, what's
got.
the math? What's the math? I thought you said what's the math?
No, the math. So you said 14 to 21 miles an hour, so it should be half of that.
No, 22.
Which would be
22.
what? Oh, you said 22. Okay. Nope, it's not 22.
No. Half of 14 to 22.
And those numbers are?
God, thanks a lot, guys. 14. 20 miles an hour. 21.
See,
No, 20. 20 and a half.
See now, Bridget. I know Bridget. Where are you getting? That's in the book, right?
I got it in my book right here.
See, I'm gonna disagree with that. I think our caller is correct. It's pretty. But again, it depends on the size. But I know you said average raindrop, right? So
Mhm. Yes.
okay, so okay, hold
So
on.
look, Kevin pretty much has it. He said 14 to 22. It should be half of that. So half of 14 is 7, which is the answer in this book.
Yes, because okay, so Kevin, so all right, Bridget. Actually, I did a little more digging, and you are correct. So the large raindrops fall at an average of 20 miles an hour. Right now, your typical raindrop, which is about 3 millimeters, that falls at about 7 to 8 miles an hour. So your larger raindrops do fall at 20 miles an hour, but your average raindrop size falls right around that 7 to 8 mile an hour range.
So
I watched and won and everything in between. Well, you guys have a great day. And if I won something grand,
Kevin, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Should we give it to him, Bridget? Or
yes, give that to Kevin for all that work.
Kevin
was trying so hard. Just give it to Kevin.
Oh, did you? All right. Addison got his. We hung up. We disconnected, but Kevin, Addison's got your information. So, congratulations. That's definitely an A for effort. That's for sure.
Well, he pretty much had it because he was saying the numbers. He says, "Well, it's half that." So all I needed him to do was divide it by 2, and kaboom,
Right?
he had it right there. Yes. I love that Kevin was ready to play along, though. He's like, "Okay, you guys, I've been thinking about this."
Yes.
So, and Kevin took the time again to reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line. That is 701-293-9000. If you have other questions that you'd like to ask today, you can reach us weather or ag@flagfamily.com. Those inboxes are powered by Superior Grain Equipment. And also the live streams today are brought to us by Lighthouse Commodities. We are going to have a great conversation today with our guest. That's Buddy Rowlett. Buddy is with the RanchBot. I got to see this last week when I was at the South Dakota Cattlemen's meeting in Deadwood. So what's the RanchBot? Well, I've heard of other robots on the ranch that are like automatic feeders. They can drive around, drop pellets, chopped hay, etc. But this one has to do with water. And actually, with those freezing temps you talked about coming, Dean, this is probably a pretty good conversation for us to have. So we'll be back with Buddy, and we'll talk about the RanchBot after the American Livestock Auction, excuse me, the American Livestock Network report. So many fabulous things to talk about today. And until we get to the RanchBot, as we await Buddy, our salesman from RanchBot, joining us, wanted to visit just a couple of other items. One is out in the state of Montana, there was a report in October of feral hogs, which would have been slightly unusual because other feral hog reports have really been in the south central and southwest parts of the United States. Come to find out that what we can see is that it was actually domesticated pigs that got loose. The way this all started was the Wildlife Service in Montana was contacted. Someone thought a bear broke into a barn, had gotten into livestock feed and so forth. But, and Dean, you're going to laugh, because they could identify the animals by poop, they knew it was a pig,
jeez.
not a bear.
Hey,
Scat is the
facts
right
are
word.
facts, right? You can't argue with them.
Facts are facts. And so they were able to determine they were domesticated pigs that had gotten loose. And they wanted to make sure to talk to the landowner, the hog's owner, and they worked with, again, Department of the Wildlife Service, excuse me, the Department of Ag, et cetera, to get all that settled down. Why are people so afraid of feral hogs? Well, first of all, I've told you before, pigs are not nice animals to begin with. And the feral ones, when they pack up, you might say, they will destroy land. They will go after young livestock and wildlife. They will contaminate streams, ponds, and other areas. And they are very destructive on the environment. And so this was really something that folks wanted to make sure was taken care of over in the state of Montana. I can tell you that it's gotten worse, considering that there are feral hogs that have been running loose in Spain. And with an outbreak of Asian swine flu, they called in their military to shoot the hogs to get rid of them so it could not spread Asian swine flu to their domesticated animals. It's pretty serious if you called the military
Yeah.
to eliminate those critters. They're not messing around in Spain.
Wow.
Yes, I thought that was pretty interesting to check out.
That sounds a little.
Other things that
That
are,
sounds a little over the edge, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
you know what, if there are specific pork products that come out of Spain, isn't there an Ibera? I don't think it's a sausage, it's like a bacon that's very high dollar, and they don't want anything happening to their hogs. So they're going to make sure to eliminate them, even if that means using military action. Um, Additionally, we have, with the cold weather coming, we know that a lot of cattle have been brought home off of pasture as of late. And that's cow-calf pairs. You know that most everybody ran them through, got some vaccinations done. You are making sure that you've weaned, you've got the right rations in front of those calves, etc. But something else to think about is deworming. To all of you who have just finished lunch, I'm sorry. So far, I've talked about feral pigs. I'm about to bring up
You forgot
worms.
poop. You've talked about, pig
Yeah.
poop. Okay.
Pig poop. It's a good livestock day here on Weather and Ag in Focus. And so deworming, because when you bring cattle home from pasture, sometimes they can literally bring bugs with them. And some of those parasites can be naturally found in the pasture. Cattle pick them up as they're grazing low to the ground, and then they bring them back into the feedlots. And you want to make sure that when you are on a deworming plan with your livestock, that first you should have always consulted your veterinarian for what's best. Second of all, now don't use the same active ingredient every year in your herd, because you can start to build resistance. It's kind of like overusing antibiotics in humans, right? Pretty soon they just don't work for you anymore. And the same could be said when it comes to dewormer. And so change out what those deworming products are, put it in a little bit of a rotation so you're using different active ingredients. I talk about stuff like this all the time when it comes to weed control. Change your modes of action so that you don't have a buildup as far as resistance and so forth is concerned. And these are just one of the things to be thinking about right now as we are getting animals back home. Again, we've done a lot of weaning right now, and we want to keep those gaining weights up on those cattle, because if they aren't feeling well, they're not going to gain weight. Personally, I could probably use a good bout of the flu after the holidays to knock off some Christmas cookie weight myself, but this isn't the way to do it. Just a thought right there.
Hey, it's that time of the year we all have to gain about 5 pounds at least, right?
Absolutely.
That's a fact. That's all.
Absolutely. All right. So it sounds like our guest, Buddy, is able to join us. Buddy, how are you today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hey, you're back in a trade show booth like how I met you last week. Where are you today?
I am. We're at Montana Stock Growers in Billings for today and tomorrow. So, visiting with people here and learning a lot about what's going on in the industry.
Oh, well, I would imagine over in Montana, are you hearing or seeing anything different than what you saw in South Dakota last week as far as concerns or questions that ranchers are asking you right now?
You know, not really. I think probably input costs are the big thing now. I mean, everybody's enjoying a good market, but they're also are suffering through everything they purchase being more expensive. So that's kind of been the talk now of how do we, uh, cut cost or rein in our expenses.
So, Buddy, before we start talking about the ranch bot, what's your background in ranching and agriculture?
My wife and our children have a small herd of registered Angus and Charolais cows in Kansas. Um, so raised all of our children through the registered Angus program there, where we went to shows and they participated in all the contests. So really a ranching based family. Everybody's involved in some aspect of it.
Oh, I would say it's been quite enjoyable over the years, and that's probably what brought you along the lines of working with a product like the RanchBot. So, do you want to give us just a little bit of an overview of what it is? The guys have the website, and I'll have to pull them out of my file here. I actually have the sell sheets that I looked at for it last week. Tell us a little bit about what it does.
Okay, so we started in Australia probably 12 years ago, went to market, and the big concern, of course, like it is in the Western United States, is water. It's becoming more of a concern every year, and it's the most important nutrient. So they've got cattle, sheep have got to have it. So is there a way to know they've got it without spending all those hours of driving over rough roads, wearing out tires and vehicles, and have some peace of mind that yes, my stock has got water? So our founder, Andrew Coppin, grew up on those big stations in Australia, and that was his job as a teenager. And when he got to a place in life he could do something about it, he started developing products that would actually give ranchers the biggest thing, peace of mind, but save them a lot of time and a lot of expense. There's nowhere I've ever seen on a P&L sheet where there's a line for what it costs to drive and check water. So we really don't think about it, but that's a lot of time in this big country.
Oh, I would say that's quite a bit of time. All right. Lots of questions about how this works, the wheres, the whys, and so much more. We're going to continue our conversation on the Ranch Bot after we listen to our bottom of the hour news. So call us with your questions. Again, the JLA Insurance phone line is 701-293-9000. Send those emails, ag or weather at flagfamily.com, to our Superior Grain Bins inboxes, and we'll be right back. Thanks for being here on Weather and Ag in Focus today as we talk about the RanchBot, which I feel is incredibly timely considering Dean's talking about super cold temperatures this weekend, and we got to keep waterers flowing active and making sure that we don't have anything bad happening with them. So joining us today is their business development manager, Buddy Rowlett. And Buddy, okay, as we look at this, let's start with just some of the hardware. I have a photo of it here. What am I looking at?
Okay.
What does this do for us if we're using the RanchBot light?
Okay, the RanchBot light was our first product we ever came out with, and it measures the amount of water that's in a storage tank. So it
Mm-hmm.
has a probe that drops to the bottom and actually weighs the water. You set your parameters up on your phone as to how high you want it and how low you want it. If it breaks either one of those parameters, it sends you a text or an email or both. It's not sending you text as long as nothing's wrong. You can look on the platform at any time and see where your water is in your tank, but it only tells you something's wrong when something's wrong, if it's overflowing or if it gets too low. And you decide what those points are. The cool thing about it is it's satellite based. So we don't need any cell service. We don't need any electricity. We don't need anything. It's a self-supporting unit.
And Buddy,
Huh.
what's the response been like at these trade shows for this product?
You know, it's people say that is, I've been looking for something like this. A lot of people have never thought about it. I mean, for 3 or 4 generations, they have just gone and checked their water, and nobody,
Mm-hmm.
thought there was any way to do different. So it's kind of a new concept that people are really getting their heads around.
Well, and this frees up the farmer rancher to do other things too, so they don't have to take their time to go out and check the water.
Absolutely. Get
Yeah.
up in the morning, get you a cup of coffee, and see what your water tanks look like.
Now, there's areas of the country where the water tanks are incredibly popular because you don't have good wells, that type of thing. Oftentimes here in the Dakotas, we might see more well service, rural water, etc. Is the RanchBot still a fit for us, or how could we be using it differently for us?
We have a product called Trough Direct that mounts right on the trough where the livestock drinks and does the same thing as the light. It just works in shallower water and is a little more responsive to the change in the water, so that, I mean, a trough may drop 3 inches and you need to know where a tank could drop a foot. It wouldn't really matter.
When we're looking at these, like the Trough Direct, it's going to tell us what's happening for that water in there. Can I move it from place to place, or does it only stay in that particular trough, that particular GPS pinpoint, or can I be moving it around as if maybe I'm doing a small area grazing?
You absolutely can move it. I wouldn't recommend moving it every day. I've tried
Mm-hmm.
that, and sometimes they get a little confused. But if you're moving on a 3-day to a week rotation, absolutely change it as you move the cattle.
Now, I see when I look at the Trough Direct that I can use the app on my phone. And so with that app, there's a little spot on here that says sensors. How often do the sensors go out? Is that like an extra piece that is a good idea to be stocking to have in your shop in case the sensors fail?
Now, sensors typically don't fail. I think that probably on the app, what you're looking at is if you've got more than one unit, you just go down there and it gives you a list of all of them where you can actually click on the one you want to look at.
Oh, good to know. It looks to me like the app is pretty handy. I mean, giving you levels by dates, keeping up with multiple sites. And as you said, you don't even have to worry about having internet out on a pasture at this point in time, right?
Right. We don't need anything. We're all satellite driven. So our satellites sit stationary up over North America, and they're watching all the time about what's going on.
Have you had a chance to talk with some of your farmers and they say, I can use this in other fits on my farm as well? And any suggestions that folks have given you that have worked out really well?
Oh, we can do liquid fertilize like on a center pivot, so that the
Uh-huh.
big deal there is know that you're putting out fertilize and know that the levels are dropping, or that if you need to order more fertilize, we do have a diesel unit too, where we can monitor remote diesel tanks. So yeah, and we're looking at some liquid feed and some other things. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's just a matter of, the demand driving the research.
Can you lock those remote diesel tanks so nobody's siphoning out of them?
I wish we could. Someday we will. If somebody comes up with electronic lock, we can definitely kill the power to them.
See, and that's important. Okay, so if you've got a tank that's overflowing and you can remotely shut down through this trough monitor what's happening there so you have less concern, or is this a good Lord, get in the pickup, we got to go now situation?
It depends. We do have units, yes, that will stop and start motors and start pumps, or start generators that then start pumps. So yes, we can do more than just tell you how much water's in the tank. We can monitor the line pressure, the flow, how many gallons per minute you're pumping. So as any of that changes, you may have a broken line or a float knocked off or some of that.
On some of the sizable water tanks, do you ever need more than one of these monitors on a tank?
If we have tanks that are within line of sight, we can use one monitor and do what we call tank extend. So we can talk to one big RanchBot up to 10 other tanks or troughs as long as they're within line of sight. And what I mean by that is, at night, if you can see a light from one tank to the other, they can talk to each other.
If we have ranchers who are listening that have an interest, is this something that they buy direct from you? Is there a distributor network for it? Kind of what's that process when someone says, I think I have a plan?
In your area up in the Dakotas, Wyoming, we are all direct. You deal with me, and we make sure you're taken care of. Some areas where in the drier country, we do have some dealer networks, but kind of new to the Dakotas, so we're dealing with everybody direct to make sure they're happy.
Well, Buddy, you mentioned earlier that you ranch in Kansas. What does your weather look like down there? Are you going into this winter looking dry, or did you get a little bit of moisture to help out your pastures?
We're in really good shape this winter. Had a little dry weather in September. Things got a little crispy, but right now we're really looking good and got more rain coming. So ponds and creeks are in good shape. Looking for some snow probably next week, but yeah, everything looks good.
Well, I'd say I'm a little bit envious if you're hanging out at the Montana Stock Growers meeting this week, because I have a feeling it's probably fairly decent weather and folks are in a fairly good mood to be visiting with you about improvements and ideas for the ranch.
Yeah, it's been a fun time, a lot of good reception. We are looking at about 10 inches of snow coming in tonight, so I've got to get on a plane tomorrow and get back to Kansas.
Oof.
I would skedaddle if I were you. I wouldn't hang around for that.
Hey, Buddy, we have an emailer question asking, is Buddy's products, are they geared more towards the smaller farm and ranch or larger farm and ranch, or doesn't it really matter?
It doesn't matter. I've got guys that have tanks that are maybe 2 miles from the house. It wouldn't be a big deal to go check them, but they work in town at another job. So even when they're at work, they can make sure their cattle's got water, or they can call the neighbor and say, hey, would you mind going and checking? I don't have, something's wrong with my tank. So yeah, we're geared to everybody. Okay. We've got people that's got hundreds of units and a lot of customers that's got one.
And trying them out and probably expanding it after they get the first one.
Absolutely. I don't have anybody that ever buys just one.
Buddy, if folks are interested in what we've talked about today, how can they find you and or the RanchBot and the trough monitor, etc.?
Well, you can go to ranch-bot.com, or you can email me at buddy.rowlett, that's ROWLETT, at ranch-bot.com. My phone number is 620-498-9877.
Outstanding. Thanks so much for joining us from Montana today, Buddy.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to do a recap of the weather, including the coldest air so far this winter season. It's on its way with dangerously cold wind chills. We'll have those details, and I think Bridgette's got a couple of ag topics to go over as well. More on that when we come back. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:50 in the afternoon. And We're looking at cloudy skies out there, temperatures in the teens. Now, there have been some reports of a little freezing mist out around the, let's say just east of Devil's Lake. So keep that in mind if you're along Highway 2 there. And let's see, out to our west, basically wet road conditions from Bismarck westward. So really no big travel issues across the state today. Your typical scattered slippery spots. And again, there was reports earlier today, and this looks like it's still affecting roadways a little bit up around the Devil's Lake Basin. There was some freezing drizzle up there, and we're still getting reports of still some ice-covered roadways there. So if you're up in the Devil's Lake Basin, just use a little extra caution. But thankfully, up and down 29 looks pretty good, and going west on 94 looks good. Once you get to Valley City, west of Valley City, there are some scattered slippery spots between Valley City and Jamestown. So again, that was from that little bit of freezing drizzle from earlier, and with temperatures still obviously below freezing, that's going to have a little bit of an impact, but even that's starting to calm down. We do have an Arctic front that's going to be hitting the area tonight after midnight. That will give us a quick shot of some light snow, half inch or less out of that, but the big deal is going to be the winds increasing and Arctic air pouring into the area. We will see a little blowing snow as those winds increase after midnight tonight through about midday tomorrow. And then that's when the core of the Arctic air spills in with morning lows, about 20 to 25 below across the area. So you factor in even a little bit of wind with that, and you're looking at wind chills 30 below or colder. So very cold, dangerously cold weather coming our way. Don't be surprised if the National Weather Service may issue some wind chill advisories as we head into Friday and Saturday. But the good news, by Tuesday of next week, we will warm things back up, back into the 30s. In fact, we might be pushing 40 across most of the state as we head into Tuesday. So a brief shot of some warmer weather, but it won't last long. We cool back down as we head into the latter part of next week. But no Arctic air returning. We cool down, but this is a pretty quick shot of Arctic air. A couple days, two and a half days, I think we can handle that. And that's going to be the pattern, it looks like, for this upcoming winter. With these shots of Arctic air, when they do come down, they're not going to last long. And it looks like, I know a lot of people are kind of focusing in on the holidays coming up, and it looks like we go into, if you watched our LRC special, we go into what's called phase 2 of the LRC cycle, starting about the 20th of this month, and that is typically the stormier part of the LRC cycle, where we get those western troughs, those storms dig into the west coast, and then we get those Colorado lows. Now, the big question mark is, what's going to win out? Will the Arctic air push the storm track just to our south? Or if the Arctic air is held up north a little bit, then we are going to turn quite stormy between the 20th and about the 30th of the month. So something we'll keep an eye on, because that's right around the holiday time for Christmas and just before New Year's as well. So something we'll be monitoring pretty closely, but it does look like we're starting to go into that part of the LRC cycle late next week and especially the following.
All right, look, it's going to get cold. I get that. But could I just give a reminder? When I drive through NDSU's campus or any other college campus in the area,
I know where you're going with
wind chills
this.
like that, zip your coat, put on a hat, and for the love of God, wear your gloves. I mean, I feel like I should roll down my window and just yell at people. But
Come on, Mom.
Y'all are just right. Y'all are just lucky I am at the Prairie Grains conference today in Grand Forks, so I can't be following you around the college campus and yelling at you.
But how many of those kids do you see wearing shorts as well? Do you see shorts?
I refuse to acknowge that.
There we go. I knew someone would have to bring it up eventually.
Oh yeah, I see.
Not acknowledging it.
Yep, I see that quite a bit. It's the winter coat. At least they got hats and gloves on, and then they're wearing shorts. And I asked somebody that once, and we're just going from building to building. I mean, it's a short walk. Okay.
Not from your apartment across T-lots. I've done that, you guys. It's cold out there.
Right.
For the love of. Oy. Okay. So because of the weather that we had earlier this week, the Moorhead Public Library was going to host a canning workshop. So for all of you who wanted to finish up some of those homemade Christmas gifts, like homemade jellies and so forth. You were going to attend that on Tuesday, and then it got moved. It'll be next week, Tuesday, the 16th. So don't give up hope. You can still attend. And I highly recommend it. As an avid summer canner, I think it's awesome. Last night, I was making spaghetti, and I could go to my cabinets and get my own homemade spaghetti sauce. I hope other people want to take advantage of this because it is a great little hobby to do. So again, that moved for next week if you still want to attend that canning class. And remember earlier this week, we had a conversation with Dr. Emily Fox from the Ashley Veterinary Clinic, and we talked about the equine herpes that was moving around amongst southern states where it's kind of like cold sores, right? And if horses share water troughs, bits, tack, bridles, they can transfer that virus from one animal to the other, and it can have disastrous implications on them as far as their overall health. There is another virus out there in horses. It's called vesicular stomatitis, maybe. These words are hard, people. But nonetheless, it is another virus. It's an outbreak. It's been happening in the southern U.S. Apparently, the southwest U.S. is where bad things happen to horses. And it has been spreading throughout a number of states. If you were planning on taking your horses south to do some arena riding this year, put them in stables, if you were going to a variety of horse shows throughout the winter months, they're making sure that you are quarantining before and after these events. In fact, health papers out of Arizona are only valid for 14 days right now versus the usual 30. Check with your vet. If you are planning on traveling, particularly state to state, and maybe you should have a concern about what viruses your horses could pick up. It's like back to school. You send everybody to school, they all come home with a sniffle. Same thing can happen to horses when you head out to horse shows. So check that out before you start traveling, especially if you're doing team roping or if you are into barrel racing or anything like that. Keep an eye out.
All right. And Bridgette, we got a quick caller we're going to take here before the end of the show. Caller, what's your name?
Oh, not again. Kevin Connect.
Oh, Kevin. All right. Kevin, we're going to...
Hey, I got a question for Bridgette.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
We're talking canning. Have you guys ever done banana bread in a pint jar or pumpkin bread, and then you bake it in the jar, which to me is risky, blows up. But you actually
and then
bake
seal
them
it
in the jars. No, it's not sealed. It bakes open, but you put a lid on it after it cools down and stuff, and then you decorate it Christmassy. It's really pretty.
That's different.
You send me the recipe, and I'll give her a whirl, Kevin.
I'll do that.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Well, that'll do it for today's Weather and Ag in Focus. Don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.